Good evening, everybody. How we doing? So, right now it's me tonight. So, I just got me for a little bit. Hopefully, somebody else, get a little free time and can jump on. It's been crazy for us, right? So, because it's prep time. So, tonight's topic, if you don't know, is going to be about our retreat, right? About our wellness and resilience retreat. So, with prep of that, I know all of us like we in crunch time, right? But I wanted to come on here and for tonight's topic and kind of talk about like what it is. Talk about a little bit about our retreat, like what inspired us to do it, what kind of like what we hope to get out of it and everything. So you get it right from me. I'm Chris, the founder and president of BTMO. So let me go ahead and get to the first question I have for this evening. And again, if you have any questions, if you're tuning in and you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I will answer them as they come. If any of my brothers jump on, and join the conversation as well, that would be they can answer those questions for themselves too. But the first question is, what inspired the retreat? What inspired the retreat? I will say, kind of what inspired the retreat for me was when starting BTMO and then starting the TMT, the support group that we had. For me, it was everybody was looking for brotherhood, right? Most of the guys that came on were saying that they were looking for brotherhood, connections, and stuff like that. So the opportunity to get out and get away, like just to leave, your everyday 9 to 5, your everyday life, and just come on and go get around people that look like you, that have kind of similar experiences. So it's kind of like for me, it was kind of like bringing on the TMT support group and bringing it to life to people in action in real time. So with that, that's where the retreat, the inspiration came from. Is giving that space and opportunity for other guys that look like me to have the opportunity to come together and create that space and that brotherhood, just to be ourselves, even if it's just for a weekend, right? Just that little euphoria is just it just could be amazing, right? So that's kind of like the inspiration for me to like start the retreat, right? To even make things like this happen. Cause I kind of even talk about like last year's retreat, right? A few of the guys there that came, they really what made them really enjoy it. Some of the feedback that we did get was just the fact that they were able just to be themselves, right? To actually, like I was saying, like be themselves and be around people that's like that looks and acts like them, and just that space in general. Because not our everyday lives, we've got to just be kind of like be hidden and hide who we are versus just being there and just being able to have fun, joke, kick it with the boys, right? Some of us don't even get that opportunity because, like, life when we don't feel safe or feel comfortable being who we are. And one of the biggest parts for me that I really enjoyed about last year was everybody got the opportunity to get in a hot tub and like go with their tops off, right? Because after we have these scars, some people still, don't feel comfortable being out there, being comfortable without shirts on. So the opportunity to get in a pool with no shirt on is that's like inspiring, right? The euphoria of that is amazing. I can speak for myself, right? Because it's not often that I go around without like a beater on, right? Like I think people call them wife beaters, right? People walk around with those. Like I don't feel comfortable all the time in that, right? So just that opportunity to just be yourself and be open and stuff like that as well. Um, so again, I just so again that's another reason why this retreat is kind of like so important to us in general is the opportunity to like see pretty much see other people like you and have that experience, right? So a little bit more about this year's retreat, right? What type of activities what we'll be offering at this retreat. So for all those participants and attendees that are coming, of course we're hiking, right? That is number one. That's last year we lucked out in the place we were at last year had a trail and on the premises, so we got to do a little hiking there. So getting outdoors, hiking the bonfire, just hanging out by the fire, roasting marshmallows, right? Just that camaraderie and that the conversation was amazing, right? And again, this year we're gonna kind of leave a little bit more and Have a couple activities. We have two activities that we're going to do. We'll have kayaking, offsite activities, kayaking and horseback riding. That's an opportunity again that not many people get, right? So I was able to provide these opportunities for people to go out here and um, go kayaking. Because I could personally say that I've never been kayaking myself, but uh, I have been horseback riding as a child. But so that's one of my so that's one of our things that we're offering this year is those two offsite activities. And then on-site activities, we're going to make sure we touch on things. We're going to make sure we talk about our mental health, our physical health, our mind, body, and spirit, right? Those are very important, right? So we're going to make sure that we have those moments to sit down and focus on those, right? Look at that and how we all come together and personally ourselves and reflect on things that affect our mental health, right? And then things that and how we oversee it, the resilience part, how we overcome those mental blocks or what have you that we have or that we experience, right? Um, so that's a little bit about the things that that we're doing this year at our retreat. So I mean, I there's so many possibilities. I was kind of a little bit hoping for zip lining. That was on the list of things to do. With no, I got outvoted on zip lining, but I feel like that would have been a fun opportunity because we are going to be down in like the Hockey Hills area of Ohio. So I don't know if who's been down there, if anybody's been down there to experience that, but that is kind of like that's where you do it, right? Especially in the fall, because I feel like the fall is the perfect time to get down to hiking hills and just see nature, see the leaves change and the beautifulness. Because like personally, my favorite season is fall, right? I enjoy getting out there and uh, seeing nature because hoodie weather, right? Like you're out there, an opportunity just to wear your hoodies and just hoodies in the evening and shorts during the day. Right. But real quick, let me bring on it looks like Chauncey's on here. So let me go ahead and bring him in real quick. 1 second. Hey bro, welcome.
Hola, ¿cómo es?
Doing the things. All right, give me one moment. Let me get my audio together quick. But while I do that, the question I kind of just went over. Well, if you want to, I did two questions so far. The first question was, what inspired the retreat, and what type of activities are we offering at the retreat? So if you want to jump in while I get my audio together.
Sure. So first and foremost, in honoring folks' time, I apologize about my tardiness. I certainly wasn't intending to leave you out here on an island and leave the folks waiting. So my apologies, guys. Um, and to jump into the question, um, what inspired the retreat and what are the activities that are going to be going on at the retreat? Is that the Thank you. Thank you kindly. Um, so what inspired the retreat? I mean, that's a pretty loaded question. Um, I think it was really just a sum total of just needing a space that belonged just to us, and that was centered around where you could take your time. Because of course, we do events and we have support groups and things of that nature. But oftentimes, those things, when they end, you feel like there was more that may could have been accomplished. And the truth about being able to see into yourself, or even start the process of healing or continue the process of healing, that there has to be time and space available, and that doesn't often happen as much in a structured public environment that's centered around a specific topic or event, versus when you put yourself in a setting to allow your nervous system to rest and be comfortable in your surroundings. And then you will start to see all of the have tos fall away, all of the necessary fall away, and you can focus in on what is actually happening in your mind, in your heart, um, being and also in creating a safe space where you can say this with people who also have been through some of the same experiences as you have, you know? So it's one thing to talk to a therapist or friends or family, but when you are looking in the face of someone who literally has been through the exact same thing, and when I say exact same thing, I don't mean the exact same way, but the exact same thing that you've been through, it oftentimes like it changes your perspective on what you actually need. You're able to start telling the truth about what it is that you need and what you see inside yourself and all of these things. So I mean, if there's any one thing that if I had to drill it down to one thing um, that inspired the retreat, it's sanctuary. That's really, I think that's what I would call it, is sanctuary. And we want to continue to cultivate this um, as we go along. I mean, this may go from a 15-person retreat to 150-person retreat one day, but what's necessary is that we continue to cultivate a safe space, a sanctuary space, um, for people like us. So uh, that's what I believe inspired the retreat, and what types of events will happen at the retreat. Okay, now y'all getting into the secrets. You see what I'm saying?
I
Um,
told I told him already that we doing. Already brought up that we doing kayaking and horseback riding, along with like little in house, mental health, getting on that mind, body, and spirit, wellness, and
right,
and
right.
learning. So I kind of threw that in there. So if you want to share your thoughts on like on those
Um,
activities,
yeah, like I mean, I don't know how many people have been horseback riding or kayaking. I actually have only been horseback riding a couple times, kayaking once. So even though it's not my first time, I'm still mad excited because it's not something that I get to engage in often. And to do it with a group of people where I can really feel like comfortable and relaxed and create some memories with is a very dope feeling. As far as workshops and things, we don't want to give away all of the workshops, but they'll just know that when you come here, our intention is not to necessarily like try to be the knowers of all, but just cultivate a space where we can kind of grow through some challenges that we may be having. And um, it's a work in progress, just like we are. So that's what we're banking on. We are banking on the work. We are banking on learning new things from the participants. We are hoping that the participants are able to learn from us. Um, we are banking on creating connection. We are banking on people walking away, including ourselves, walking away from those 3 days, you know, better than they were when they walked in the door. So that's what's offered. And as I've stated before, even though this is what this is now, I can see the breadth of this over years to come. So I know, in 10 years we'll be looking back on this. Somebody will be like, I went to the first retreat, and maybe that person will then be leading the retreat at that time. It just depends. We talk all the time about how BTMO is, yes, it was created by Chris. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are the founder, the president, but it belongs to the people. So we want BTMO to grow legs, arms, a heart, a brain, all of those things in order to be able to move forward and carry on the purpose. And the retreat is part of that. It's part of creating that connectivity and the relationship, the understanding, all of those things. So yeah, that's those are my thoughts on those things.
oh yeah, definitely. Like with the whole idea, like what I had said, was like brotherhood, right? From when we started off, from when it just started off with the support group, right? A lot of the guys came on there and was like, you know, looking to hang out. You know, I'm looking for brotherhood. And whatever. So like creating this space and these activities, we get the opportunity to have creating that space for brotherhood. Right? 'Cause, you know, one of our pillars is, you know, community building, right? So it's an opportunity to build community that everybody walks away with an experience and uh, an experience and even get to know each other even when they get back home, right? Everybody know who's close to. And yeah, the goal definitely. Right? That kind of goes um, to the next question a little bit. Like, in what ways will the retreat create supportive space to address transmitted colors or Black transmitted needs? Right? Um,
Hold on. Before you start answering that question, do me a favor. Your It sounds like your cord is hitting the mic or something, so
okay.
it's impeding on being able to hear you real well.
Yes. All right. Let me go ahead and answer that question while I get that figured out.
Copy that. In what ways would the retreat create supportive space to address TMOG needs? I think there's a lot of ways this will happen. I think the number one thing for me personally is information. What does our community need? And I think those things, like I was stating previously, is that sometimes it's not until you're in a safe space, a place of rest, where you can actually define or even see what it is that you need. And I think the information that comes from that will help us begin to or continue to build programming and build resources for our community. Um, so I think that when we talk about like tangible, coming from a tangible level of support coming from the retreat, I think that is the biggest thing that I'm looking forward to, is the information, what the brothers have to say, what do they need, what do they want. So that's a big piece of it for me, tangibly. And then on the other side of that, I think creating a supportive space is that, like what you just said, walking in, you may not know a single person there, and then even if you walk out and continue to talk to one or two people, that's one or two people that you didn't have in your circle prior to going. So I think that is really important, just creating that connective tissue, if you will, the relationship, um, so yeah, that's what I think. How the retreat will create supportive space.
Oh yeah. Okay. So my audio better this time? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, stay right there though. Don't back up from the mic.
Don't go back too far. All right, I'm gonna say like real close, real.
Yeah, yeah, there
I'm
you
just
go.
bring it like right. Okay. All right. But for real though, in what ways will the retreats create a supportive space and address our issues? You know, I feel like in general, especially with the atmosphere in Ohio when it comes to trans people in general, and how like right now we're a target. Just that in itself is kind of like a battle, just getting away from that. I feel like this is going to get that need of actually a moment of escape from your world, because who knows, like there could be a guy on here, I can kind of speak for myself a little bit, that hasn't had like a real vacation, right? That hasn't really been able to get away and do anything, right? And it could be for multiple reasons, but I know probably the number one, you know, reason could be financial, right? And so by us creating this space free of charge to anybody in Ohio to come and just have a weekend away with the boys, right? It is, you know, could be life changing for somebody, right? It could just give them that little push to help them keep going, right? Because we never know where anybody is in their life. Just because hearing all this negative trans stuff, you know, how we're trying to trans kids, or you know, having to worry about discrimination at work because this person's thoughts and misunderstandings. So just that, you know, just having that moment to just get away in this opportunity, I feel like is really going to kind of help address just maybe, if nothing else, just that one need, just that moment, just that quick weekend away with the boys, just to escape the reality of whatever's happening at home, you know, rather
Right.
good or bad, right? Just away from the kids, you know, because we love them, but you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree with that 1,000%.
Yeah, like so like just for you, like last just if you think back to last year, bro, what was the retreat like? What did you take away from that last year?
Um, I don't know if I could really wrap up what I took away in like a statement or two. I
Mm-hmm.
think it was really, throughout this whole process, you know, just getting to know myself and getting to know our community. You know what I'm saying? I think it was really just the breadth of our community and what we have to offer, and um, how much light is in it. And I think that I really spent a lot of time last year just um, experiencing that, which I fully plan to do this year, because we're with a different set of folks. And I mean that's another thing. Like, shout out to the man. We had such an overwhelming response to this that really
Yes.
put the nail in the coffin for us to know that we need to create more space for this. Because it was really difficult trying to nail down who got the opportunity to go and who we had to kind of put on a wait list and whatnot, for that. But with that being said, man, it first of all, when I moved to Ohio, I didn't even think black people was in Ohio, right? let let alone let alone
Man.
moving to Ohio, learning and being able to step into who I was, and then in turn not knowing anybody like me, going from not knowing anybody like me to, over the course of the last 4 years, like at least connecting with hundreds of people, like me, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Ohio, like in Ohio
In
nonetheless.
Ohio
You know
alone.
what I'm saying?
Alone.
In
Just you're
Ohio
alone.
nonetheless.
Right?
So I think I'm still in a space of awe of just our existence, and how saturated we actually are, how many of us there actually are, but also the the breadth of, like, just kinds of trans guys or trans masculine folks that you meet. It's just, man, it's always eye opening. So I think being in the same space with all those individuals last year was just like proof. It was like real life. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? That was real life. Like, yo,
Yeah.
So I think, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to this year. Um, I don't think I'll ever get enough of that. Just knowing and seeing. I mean, as a black person, I've been black all my life. I still like to walk into spaces that I didn't expect to have a lot of black folks, and we be in there deep. So that's a
Yes.
it
Yeah.
feels good to feel represented and feel seen.
Oh,
So
that you hit it right there. Representation, and then seen, right?
yeah,
You know, because in that moment, that's something I kind of said earlier too, was just, you know, sometimes we go through our life, we go through our everyday life living stealth, right? In hiding, not nobody really knowing who we are when we get home, right? And
right.
so that idea that, you know, being able just to be around other people and seeing that representation. I can get the word. It's there. I've said it before, right? So it's just
I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you.
right. So it's the representation of seeing the different, because being a black trans man is not a monolith, right? We are all different, right?
Yeah,
We all
yeah,
have we all may face the same societal issues, right? We may, hit, both at home and family issues, right? They may all be similar, but we're all not the same at the end of the day.
right, right.
Right? Because like some of us is real mass, right? Some of us what would they would put as like a toxic cis male presenting person, right?
Correct, correct. Yeah,
And then there's some of us that are feminine presenting, that we're still in touch with our feminine side, right? We
right.
just are mass, we're more mass, but when do that balance right there, right? So it's just
Yeah,
like we're all not just one thing that you can fit in a box. So being able to come into a space and just be yourself, no matter where you fall on that scale, is amazing, right? Because we have guys that want one thing and some guys want another. So it's just like, and then having that conversation, right? Learning from other people's experiences, right? Just giving that moment too, I think what's amazing too is just like, oh yeah, I found this that helped me with this, or this that helped with that. So that in person is like, yeah, we might have had that a little bit in our support groups, but it's different when you're in person, right?
Yeah.
You can actually feel that person's energy and excitement for whatever it is that we're talking about in that moment, right? So that's definitely like for yeah. That kind of that kind of I think we kind of just kind of covered the next question though, because it was like, what type of impact do we hope to make?
Well, then there it is. Then,
Right?
um, I mean, what you talked about, just a moment ago, that was really, uh, that actually is a whole. That's a whole topic, right? That's a whole within itself. The breadth, the spectrum of trans men, and I hope that to cover those folks. I mean, not those folks. I'm sorry. Cover that subject matter and bring on folks with the breadth of representation that we are, and really talk about that, because oftentimes in the LGBTQ community, we often there's a lot of spaces, especially in the Black LGBTQ community,
Hmm.
that like to mirror cis heterosexual normalcy, if you will.
Yeah.
And while if that's your thing, cool. But for me, it's never been about any like level of erasure, but more so just making room. So if you are mask, cool. If you are femme, cool. You know what I'm saying? If you in between, cool. Like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your story is and why you live your life the way you live it, you don't need permission for that. But I know that there's a level of curiosity. Folks don't understand, and I feel like for me it's never been about just like we fight. My level of advocacy is being able to bridge the gap, though, right? So that's what I desire to do, is bridge gaps. Like, and I'm not saying no, like I'm just trying to make it palatable for people. That's not it. But I'm human before anything. My humanity comes before any and everything. So as a human, we're all gonna have different experiences. So at the in the seat like of my soul, at the deepest part of me, I do desire connectivity in humanness. Whether
Mm.
you agree with how somebody lives their life or not, but let's not let that end in murder. Let's not let that end in lack of opportunity. Let's not let that end in slighting people because you don't understand people. So my way of advocate, my level of advocacy is wanting to like bridge those gaps where things are hard. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? So, when you got mask trans men out here that are slighting feminine trans men, or people who want to still bear children because they're able to do so, because we don't know what their story is. Like,
Mm.
I don't think a lot of people really think about, as if you are a trans man, especially a masculine trans man who doesn't necessarily identify that way with his body, but he's sacrificing himself to bring life into this world. Like, that's, to me, that's like, that's heroism. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
like, what? Like, you did the thing, the one thing. I don't want to say
Mm.
the one thing, but one of the things that could take you mentally somewhere else, and you
Yeah.
sacrifice yourself for that. So that's heroism to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know if I answered the question, but I just wanted to say that.
Eh, I mean, bro. I mean, you said it, and it's hard for me. Like, my ADHD is kicking in, so I'm just like, dang, there's so many things he said that I just want to touch on, right? Like, how can
It's
I?
our world. You know what I
I know,
mean? It's our world.
I know,
We can
right?
do whatever.
How can I do this? But one of the things I do want to say in general, like, kind of a takeaway from this retreat, eh, too, is an opportunity for people to be know that they're gonna get back home safe,
Yeah.
right? Because I feel like that is a huge part of. of our community too. Is like worrying about safety, right? Is worrying about when I walk out the door today if I'm going to come back right safely, right? So that's another huge part of it too that I give. I feel like this retreat or just our organization in general is safety is like number one, right? We want to make sure everybody feels safe and gets home safe, right? Is like number one in general, period, right? Because like we're personally picking up people, and you know,
Yeah,
we are like actually doing the things to make sure that people are actually getting to and fro safely, right? So I just want to make sure I put that out there because that is important, especially into again back to today's environment too, right? But another thing that you had mentioned that I kind of wanted to talk on too is just like uh, I don't know again because you kind of like me, like kind of talked on like the vast differences of black trans men,
yeah,
right? And what we look like,
yeah,
right? In
yeah,
general, what and the things we do. Because I know myself, like I wanted my own little mini me, right? I wanted my own children, right? I want little kids that look like me running around here terrorizing the world like me. But
yeah.
unfortunately, no, that's not wrong answer. Okay, it happens, here and there. But uh but I wasn't willing to do that time, as I call it, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't get myself mentally in the space to bear children, right? That's something that
right,
I never could do. Like I was like, let me find me a girl that's gonna have my babies, right? That's always been my thing, right? That's always been the man in me, no matter what stage of my life I was in, that was one of them, right?
right.
That was me.
That was a listen. No matter what the list was, it was on it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's just my personal experience, right? And I can't speak for others, but I'm not gonna talk about them, right? If there's any way that we could support them in any way, we here for it, right? I
Yeah,
may not be an expert in that area, but if I could, find support in some way, that we here for that, right? That's one of our things. Like we here to support us, right? Because a lot of times, and again, it's a topic we can just go down if we wanted to down that field, but we're not going to take us there, right? It's just in general, you know, healthcare when it comes to us, right?
yeah, yeah,
'Cause especially in, because when's the last time one of us, I think I've said this on before. I feel like I'm hearing an echo. But like when was the last time one of somebody went to the OBGYN, right?
yeah.
That hasn't had, bottom surgery, right? The
Right.
things, regardless if you had a history or not, you still should be doing. But, you know, we sometimes do what we're supposed to do, sometimes we don't. It's on the to-do list, as we like to say,
That's
right?
that's 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 me in life though. That's not reserved just for like this portion of my life that is kind of evolves like or revolves around transness. I just be doing what I want to do
Mhm.
most sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the
Yeah.
times. Real quick before we move on really quick, I do want to say shout out to Jay and Tay. Uh, Jay and Tay. I just want to say shout out to Jay and Tay for the comments. I don't know if you posted the comments already, but Jay, we're sending you love right back, and we appreciate you for your support 100%. Always down the ride, always looking out for the guys 100%. Tay, we know you've been down, you've been riding, and we appreciate you as well. Um, yeah, 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 absolutely. Wait till you after this year, I think there'll be a lot more stories for you to hear.
Mhm.
So we appreciate all the support for everybody. Comments or no comments, whether you watch the live, whether you don't, whether you just click on the website. You know what I'm saying? There's such a level of appreciation because without y'all, we don't exist, and we don't exist for us. We exist in service of all of us. So every time that you click on a button or you support something that we're doing, you are serving your community through us, and I appreciate that. We all appreciate that so much. So I wanted to take a minute to say that real quick.
Oh,
And
I second that because hey, I'm gonna tell you what, you know, those two. I'm gonna shout out really put a shout out to both of them, right? Because they both have been doing some work for us as well, kind of like volunteering, right? Because without even asking, they're like, "Hey, what do you need?" Right? And so just between both Tay and Jay, like when they're like, "What do you need? How can I help?" Right? They're like right there, and I'm just like, "All right, gotta like." There's tons of things, so it's hard to. I gotta go through the list and tell them, pick something, right? Sometimes, but overall, like uh just knowing, having that support, right? We're always open to support in general, right? And then, and I want to take that into too is like make that my plug into, we are looking for volunteers. So starting in 2025, we are opening up to volunteers, to individuals who are open to bring their kind of expertise to kind of help us, because like we said, we're growing, right? This is becoming bigger than the five of us right now, and it's a lot to do. And so having volunteers to kind of help in and bring their expertise, especially the number one for us is social media, because somehow we are here, but we're not doing that. Hey, we're here, right? We're showing up the best we know how.
Yeah.
Because I'm the youngest person here, and I am mid 30s,
Watch
right?
out. Watch out.
Hey,
Watch
hey,
out.
hey,
Watch
hey!
out. Watch
I ain't afraid. I ain't afraid to say that I'm not a social media expertise in any capacity, right? But so yeah, starting in 2025, we are opening up for a little bit more volunteers to kind of help in different areas and stuff like that. So if you're interested in volunteering in any way at all, just jump to our website. Go to There's actually ways to it's like ways to help or something like that. Wait, there's one of the just click on just go to the website. Just go there, and the search, you'll find you'll find that. I can't think of it right now what it's called.
As you can see, this is why we need help with our
Exactly.
socials right
That
here.
part. That
Just
part.
go
But
to the website and
mhm,
go over there and look and see.
yes, exactly. And you
Yeah,
can get
click
to
on
the
that
website
QR
to our
code.
link. You click our QR code to get to the link tree. Because I think it's gonna bug me what it's called, right? It's like ways to give, I think it is, and I think I need volunteers. So we actually do have a volunteer application out there for anybody that wants to volunteer and help. Um, but I'll get that if I could find it in time. Where if I'm looking away from the screen, that might be what I post. I might share that on the thing, the link um, to our website to sign up to volunteer. So again, like we are looking for volunteers. So whatever expertise or anything that you feel like you can bring to help us out and help us grow, because again, next year we're growing. Because right now since 2020, mind you, this is Black Trans Men of Ohio, right? So we've expanded outside of Central Ohio, and just alone, when it kind of circling back to the retreat, we have guys coming from Sandusky. We have some coming from Dayton. We had last year. We had some come from Cincinnati. Got some come from Cleveland. So it's not just we're not just here in Central Ohio. We're all in all Ohio. So if you want to volunteer, if you want us to come to your city, you want to help us in your city, just let us know that too. We could network that, because right now this year we were able to get to Dayton, we were able to get to Cleveland, and maintain our presence in Central Ohio and Columbus, right? But next year we definitely want to get to Cincinnati and Toledo, right? That's kind of our goal. So if you're in those areas and you want to network, just hit us up, volunteer. That's on our goals, like right. But yeah, so like this is exciting for us. Uh, Here it is. Look, Tay got us. See already.
Do
Didn't
the
even
thing.
look at that.
Do the thing. See, Tay is looking out.
Look at
For,
out
for
already.
the
Just
huge.
right. Pick it up, right? So appreciate that. Thank you. Appreciate that. But the last question that we do have on our list, once I get back to that, is going to be, what are our goals and plans for the future of our retreat, the I said war, I'm sorry, wellness and resilience retreat, right? What is our goals and plans?
You gonna
Like,
kick it off?
hey, bro, I'm just kind of, first thing I thought about what you said earlier, how like right now we at what, 15 people, so where we have it up to 20.
Yeah, I mean the future goals, like I don't know which future you're talking about, if you're talking about the short term future, the long term future. But first of all, I think one of the things is to create more space for more folks. And then I think it's to dig into the the healing and the wellness part of it, so like the development piece, and use that to spearhead some additional year-round programming.
Mm,
Hopefully, that will be born out of that as well. And we're already looking at those things now. But I think right now, I think the most immediate thing, and I think the thing that this year showed us is that we just need more space.
yeah,
So to create a bigger opportunity for folks. So this year it's 15, next year it's 30. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And maybe that takes us outside of Ohio. Maybe that takes us out of Hocking Hills. But whatever it is, maybe that takes us to a beach somewhere. But I
and,
can I can already see all of these things like
mm,
in the vision. So to me, it's like it's already in the making.
yeah,
So the most immediate thing is to create more space for brothers, and the other piece of that is to create some depth in the learning and the healing and the development that will happen in this space. And then also the third thing will be to connect it into some year-round programming so that we can bring that into like a wraparound support type feeling for the folks. So
oh yeah,
that that is what I would say would be the future of war.
yeah. So that's important, right? Because just having people not, and it's not, you don't have to just do it the one time, right? You have that, like you're saying, like overall all year round support, right? You could
Yeah,
not just that once a year, but it could be like 365 if possible, right? Yeah, that is kind of like an awesome goal. And then two is like, I don't know about trying to manage 30. I'm not gonna say manage, but 30 people is a lot. I'm an introvert. So I'm like, how about this? My thought is, how about we do more than one a year, right? Where we end up splitting it up to where, because the amount of people that turn out, like you said, when we dropped that link and said registration is open, that first week we was getting, it was just notification after notification, like of people that wanted to attend. So telling people that they're on the wait list, it hurt. But at the same time, we got to be, responsible. We can't invite everybody. But if we were to be able to open it up to them even having more than one a year, I feel like that'd be great. That way everybody had the opportunity to come and experience it, right? So because it's turned into like a yearly retreat thing, so it's a retreat program, right? So where now we're doing more retreats. I'm gonna throw this idea out there for you, Chauncey. You sitting down? You ready for this? Ready for this idea?
hold on. Let me hold on to my. Let me hold
Hold
on
on,
to my hat.
hold on. You ready? You
Yeah,
ready?
yeah.
What about maybe even next on the list will be a couples retreat. You know? Yeah.
You see the wind blowing? Oh, oh. I can't. I can't. I gotta hold on.
Opportunity for us and our partners to come together and get a little bit of this, right?
Yeah,
Creating that space because our partners need it too, right? It's
that's
not
true.
not just us, right? Because this journey is something that we do together,
A hundred
right?
percent.
So,
Thank you, Tay. Thank you, Tay. I seen always listen, and that's exactly what I was about to point out. Just the team will grow, and just like you said, G, you were just talking about people volunteering, and yeah, 30 people is a lot. I mean, and you can say it, manage. I mean, the truth of the matter is, at the
yeah,
end of the day, as BTMO, we're still responsible for the folks that we take out into the woods. Is what
yeah,
it is. So, yes, if we have more hands on deck, it is uh it's more to do. But if we have more people on the train with us, then it will
mhm,
be easier to manage by splicing that responsibility down. And I know that's difficult sometimes because this is your baby, and then subsequently it's become our baby, so we're very protective. But at the same time, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you know the rest.
no, I don't. I was hoping you'll finish it,
You
but
don't
it's
know, you
great.
don't know
Yeah.
okay. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go
Okay.
with people.
Oh yeah.
That's not the verbatim, but
I got you
if
though.
you know, you know.
I got
But
you.
either way, there has to be, what that really means to me is there has to be some balance and some, you have to be able to relinquish a little control here and relinquish, there has to be a level of trust.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that as we build that, with people coming through, like there was I don't even know what movie this came from. If you build it, they will come. Well,
Yeah.
whether you planted the seed, we're building it, they're coming. It's all in motion. It's all in motion. So, you know, we have to do whatever we have to do to adjust. You know what I mean? And I think that as we adjust and as we're able to like get more comfortable in the trust that we have in others, and vet the trust that we have in the people that we're bringing in, I think this, man, it can be unstoppable. And you're gonna hit kinks and chinks, but whatever. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's gonna
Yeah.
be what it's gonna be. So
Our
the
learning
last
process.
spark, I don't know. Maybe that could
I don't know.
maybe,
We don't know where we're going with this.
maybe. But for real, like
Survivor
doing
type
multiple
stuff.
a year, or I mean, just like you said, maybe not 30 people, but what if we had two where we are doing 30 people a year, because it's just that necessary to heal our folks.
Hmm.
That's one thing that I'm really, really, really invested in, is because people are getting out here, um, there are people out here that are not just leading, but they are out here in these positions and they're making decisions, and they're not doing the work internally for themselves to be in a position to lead folks or help folks, or what have you. And they're doing that from a place of through a hurt lens. And when you are leading through a hurt lens, like, I'm not saying what you have to say or what you have to offer is not the thing, like not necessary, but healing, and with an ing, not an ed, because it's a process. So I'm not
Yes.
saying that you have to be like this person that's, because who's actually completely healed, right? It's all just a process. But we need to make sure that we are focusing on development from the root, from the
Hmm.
inside out, not from the outside in. It don't matter how much money you make. It don't matter how much testosterone you got. Don't matter, you know, all of the things that you have. If your heart is still broken, if you still hurting from the inside, if you don't know who you are as an individual, so that's something that I know I'm personally investing in. Like, from the inside out, we build from a cellular level out.
Hmm.
Not, this is not a popularity contest. This is none of that. Let's go get the real so that we can be the real and we can inspire people in that way.
This is,
So
my thought was this is not a dick measuring competition.
okay,
Anyway, at all. If necessary, you can leave it at home, so we don't have to worry about that, right? We could just
hey, you know, do what
right
you
there.
want with
But
it.
we is not measuring it. This
We
is
not
not a thing.
measuring it. We not measuring
We
it. You know
don't
what I'm saying?
care. You
Your
know.
manhood is not based off that. You know what I mean? There's enough, and I sometimes my heart goes out to sis brothers, because I think one of the things that I feel like my experience in life, I wasn't pressured in a certain way coming up. Now I was pressured in some ways, but there was a certain way in regard to manhood that I was not pressured in,
Yeah.
that I didn't have to stand up to, or live up to
Mm.
coming up. So it really put me in a position where as I'm cultivating my manhood, like what I consider my manhood, in
Mhm.
a comprehensive way, so I can be tender and I can be rough at the same time. Like I can be hard and soft simultaneously. I can access any of those things. And I think sometimes, I look at people and I see how they don't get an opportunity to access they soft, and I be feeling for them, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I love soft women. And I don't believe that you can access soft people, not just women and not just in relationship. I don't think you can access soft people if you don't know how to access that. And I feel like that reduces the amount of contact and relationship that you can have in this world. And I don't want to I always want to be able to be as expansive as I possibly can, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll keep learning though, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if you're not growing, what are you doing? Right, in any aspect of it.
Dying.
Dying, hey, that's what it is. You're dying, and that's not on my to do list right now. I know it's inevitable. I have no choice when it happens, but right
Yeah.
now, I'm
I'm just
making the
not
best.
trying to do it fast.
Exactly. Slow down, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. Number one for me. But that was all the questions we kind of had. Is there anything else you wanted to bring up or talk about in regards to the retreat at all?
I I'm excited. I can't
Yeah.
wait to take pictures because we better do that.
Hey, I
I,
think we did a good job last year, though. I think we did
yeah,
well with the
I think we
last
did
year.
pretty good. We got some dope photos in that cave, man. I can't wait to get back at it. The horseback riding, the kayaking. Um, I I don't have anything like additional. I will go back and shameless plug. Hey, make sure you get on there and say how you want to volunteer if you want to be of help to BTMO, or you know somebody that needs the services of BTMO. Please, 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 please reach out to us.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that's yeah, all of that. I was trying to multitask. I was like, oh, keep talking so I can find these links to that particular link, just to that. But let me see.
Well, yeah, Chris is gonna throw a link up there, and as we approach this election too, here I'll throw this right here on the end. Now I'm by no means that is I'm not a political person, but in service of our community, you almost have to have like politics exhausts me. You understand? But you also have to have a level of understanding of what is going to affect you in your life. So I'm still encouraging folks, do your research, find out what's going on, especially at your city and your state levels. National levels matter too, 100%, but your city and your state is what's going to affect you, is what is affecting the people around you. Please get out there, get your knowledge, and go and do your civic duty and vote. I know a lot of us, I'm not even sure. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but guess what? If we don't vote and it does matter, then we're responsible. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? But if we vote and it doesn't matter, that sucks too. But at least we're making an effort. So do your civic duty and educate yourself. The civic duty is in the education, not in the actual action. So do your civic duty, educate yourself. Go ahead and make that a transaction by voting and doing what you need to do or what you feel like you can do in order to make a difference. Because they're counting on our dissonance. They're counting on us not caring or being too overwhelmed or being uneducated. They're counting on that. They've been using that against us um, for far too long. So please, anybody under the sound of my voice right now, take this as your sign. Go and do your city civic duty, educate yourself, and get your voice heard.
And with that, I'm going to say also make sure that you are still registered because they did a purge of a bunch of people in registration. So go in there and make sure that you are still registered to vote. Right? If you didn't get your absentee ballot this past couple weeks, you need to go check to make sure that you still register, right? Make sure that your IDs together, right? That's one of our things too that we try to make sure that people do. Make sure that you have your ID together. We just posted something recently on our Instagram about the steps and the IDs because they got strict down on those too. So if your ID is expired, if you have the paperwork and you just went down, haven't gone down there and do it, get that done, and so that you can go out here and vote for like for yourself, right? Not just us, but for yourself, right? Because they yeah, you need to go ahead and do it for you, right? But I did find the link, right? I thought that I had the volunteer application up, but I don't. So I apologize for that. That's my bad on that. But if you are interested in volunteering, just go to this link right here in the message box that said I want to volunteer. we'll get that message and we can be able, then we can reach out to you as well, and then we can move forward from there too. But that definitely gonna have the application up by January 1st. New Year's is gonna be up there. That's my date to get that up there, right? But and there will be announcements as too, as well. But yeah, so I don't think I have anything else, other than, right now, organizational wise, we do have the retreat, like we said, which was a nice topic. I believe we're also we are partnering with Mosaic to do a job readiness series, and I believe next on the list is going to be another interview and resume prep that's going to be towards the end of September. I don't want to lie to you about the date, but go to our website and register for that. It's a great opportunity because following that, I'm hosting a financial workshop. Can teach you a little bit about budgeting and investing there, because you've got these jobs. You got to make sure you know what to do with the money once you get it, right? The importance, right? Um, Thank you. You are awesome too, Tay. I appreciate you, especially your participation and enjoying our conversation tonight. It was awesome. Thank
Absolutely.
you so much for that. Um, and then I kind of circle back to our upcoming things, and then the last on the list is going to be a job fair, right? So we said job readiness series, right? So the grand finale is going to be a job fair in January, right? So stay tuned to that. We're looking for right now. We're partnering with different organizations as well for this to help. So yeah, so this one of our big things, and like we said, stay tuned. We are bringing the support group back at the beginning of the year. So I know a lot of guys been missing that, but we had to pull it back, revamp, reevaluate our lives. But it will be back in the beginning of the year too. So I believe that's all that I have announcement wise, bro. You got anything else before we wrap this up?
Listen, that's it, man. Let's
Yeah,
let's let's just do this next season right. That's all I'm
right.
saying.
Same. And again, I want to thank all those who, hung in there with me while I was doing this solo dolo. Because I don't know if you heard me, if you didn't hear me, how my audio was. It was just me doing the thing, making it happen. Right. I was like,
Making it happen. That's
we're
it.
not going out another month without about y'all seeing these faces. I'm just like, hey, it's not happening. Nah. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody for staying tuned, whether now or later. Again, if you're watching this later, make sure you share it with your people. And if you have anything, always free to reach out to us. We're humans just like you, right? So we understand. So just reach out if you need us. Reach out if you just you got ideas, right? Because we're open to those as well. So, but that's all I got. I'm about to go find me some dinner. Uh, so I hope everybody had a good weekend, a good Memorial Day. I mean, sorry, not Memorial, Labor Day weekend.
Labor Day.
Labor Day weekend. Make sure you go find you a cookout, find you a pool before they close. But lastly, I want to say happy early birthday to my bro right here.
This guy.
He should
This guy.
have.
Why, why you always put me on blast, bro?
You helped me through this. The VP, you my number one. You hold me to account. Hold me to the fire when necessary. We got this, right? You like, we wouldn't be here without you, bro. So hope you had a good B-Day weekend. I don't know what you did. You think you said something about work, but I think that's the Earth's Virgo sign in you. We do what we
Uh,
do. But other
well,
than
you'd be
that,
glad to know that I actually rested this weekend. My body was calling for it, and I reluctantly listened to it.
hey,
So I did rest, and I do want to say, what I'm saying, like, thank you. As much as I don't, I be like mad private and in the background and whatnot. It's good to be loved, and I'm
yeah,
grateful for that. You know what I'm saying? So I genuinely appreciate that for sure.
you know I love you, bro. We here, right? Right?
We here.
We here,
We here.
but all right, I gotta go find me some food or something to drink. All right, y'all have a good night, everybody.
Later, y'all.